So we got Parks, Matt Parks, obviously is from Cleveland. Matt's been with American Income since 2009. He is just one of the best I've ever worked with. Last year, he broke the RGA record. His team did over $9 million in production, about $175,000 net ALP every single week. And Matt, what impressed me about Matt was, right when he started with American Income, first of all, he left a really good job. I mean, he was making $70-something thousand a year, making really good income, very comfortable. You know what I mean? He was in his late 20s when he came to American Income. His brother was with the company, working with Simon's deal, and Aaron's still with American Income. He's an MJ for Simon. And, Matt, basically came to American Income, came in, immediately was a top producer, and then moved up to an SA level. And within 7 months of starting with American Income, he became an MGA. And, his first number of months, as an MGA, I had just never seen somebody that was so consistent and non-emotional, not unemotional, non-emotional. He didn't let emotions get the best of him. He just worked and worked and worked. I guarantee you that probably in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, he spent more time calling RMS than some MGAs spend in a career. But he did that not for 1 month or 2 months, but it was like 10, 11, 12 months. And I want him to talk a little bit about his story, a little bit about what he's learned. And most importantly, Matt's he's just one of the best guys, best people, and, proves that you can be a good person and be successful in business. He made about $1.5 million last year. If your math is good, that's $30,000 a week in income. His renewals are in the 20,000 plus range. And he's developed just leader after leader after leader, been on stage multiple times, and he just is someone that excels. And I'm so, he's one of my best friends. So it's weird to say I'm proud of him, but he started after I did. So I'm proud of him and the man that he is, the father that he is, the husband that he is, and what he's accomplished with American Income, the lives that he's touched. And there's no greater example of my closest inner circle where I can vouch for this guy from top to bottom, left to right, front and back. Everything about him is integrity, character, doing the right things. And he lives it every single day. So Matt, I'm going to give you the floor to go ahead and share whatever you want to share. If there's time at the end and you want to do some Q&A, I think it would be awesome to have some Q&A with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mike, thanks. I also, if there's things or a particular subject matter or something that you guys as an agency are dealing with, or you want to maybe say, hey, what do you think about this or whatever, anything at all that I could at least give a perspective on, I'd be happy to. Mike, thanks for letting me speak to your agency. When I was brand new in the business, you were the guy that did the group interview when I came in, and when I heard your story about dropping a full ride to law school to pursue American Income, I'm like, man, if he's willing to do that, I can give up a $70,000 a year job, But I've always looked up to you, still do. So even though we're good friends, wanting to have your respect was always something really important to me. Wanting to have Jim and Marcus's respect was always something that was important to me. And it's not something that you get and then you go about a different way. It's something that you try to earn and continue to earn by the way that you behave, by the actions that you take, by the decisions that you make, the way you handle certain situations. So just enormous amount of I respect you as much as I respect Jim and Marcus, Mike. So, the fact that you would allow me to speak to your guys' team and trust that I would have something of value to give, I just appreciate that, man. So, so real quick, is it Nikki and Ernest, or are there others on the call that I can't see?
Yeah, Andy's on the call, Thomas Longino's on the call, Ernest is on the call, Nikki's on the call, Mike Laramie's on the call, Jose Viramontes is on the call, and Cody Terrell's on the call. So every MD is on the call.
Awesome, cool. So you just put the good-looking ones on the screen then.
I try to keep you motivated and inspired so you can bring the
Well, listen, what's up, guys? That's awesome, man. I miss some of you guys. Haven't seen you in a while, so I hope you guys are doing well. I guess one thing I'll start off with is just understanding what the culture is right now, what it could be, what it was, because everyone has a different perspective. So correct me if I'm wrong. We have guys like Laramie and Ernest that were there before you, Vasu, and then we have people like Jose, and I think Tom was there also before, but I know Andy and had come after. Nikki kind of came along with Jose came after. So what you guys have is really something very powerful if you're willing and able to tap into it. Certainly something that Steve Greer was doing in that agency before Mike Vasu came was working. Certainly what Mike Vasu brings to the table freaking works. And so you have wisdom, experience, you have a combination of things that if you guys can kind of put your heads together and take the best of everything, it could be very, very powerful. And with that also may come the need to be flexible and adjustable. Like, I'm dealing with, I got, so I'll just be honest as I can with you. Dan Nebraski is a guy that was on Simon's team. He's a best friend of my brother's. I grew up with him, knew him since 5th grade. He was in Simon's deal for years. He's now working with me. And as much as I respect Simon and his agency and what they do, there are some subtle differences in the way that we operate. And so, I've had to remind Dan, hey, look, man, this is not that. And so, how we used to do it is not how we do it now. So he knows that, and he's not intentionally not doing what he wants to do. He just said, Matt, listen, some of these are habitual. Some of these are habits that I have, and it's going to take me a minute. But so here's the good thing. Dan's going to be a beast because he's willing to recognize them. And more importantly, he's willing to adjust and take the coaching and make the changes. I know the growth that you guys got, Vasu, when you guys came in and took that over. So this is to someone who maybe was already there before. You guys got to take what was doing good for you then, what was working for you then. But man, if Vasu has something that he wants to implement, like I'm trying to be the best. Sorry, Tiff's calling me. You guys hear me? See me?
Yeah, we got you.
You got to be willing to just say, hey, listen, man, I'm all in. And you guys know Mike's heart. You guys know what he's all about, and you guys know his intentions and his care. And so it's like me and Mike used to have these conversations all the time. Like, I don't know what Marcus is thinking wanting to do this, but all right, let's complain for 2 minutes about it, and then let's just run his damn play because some reason it always seems to work. So like part of us and part of you guys have to have enough confidence in yourself and enough humility in yourself to say, you know what, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And this guy was given this position for a reason. I'm going to follow his lead. I'm going to run the play specifically the way he drew it up and execute it to the best of my ability. And I'm not going to, even if you don't understand it, you're going to Mr. Miyagi the shit. You're going to wax on, you're going to paint the fence. You're just going to do it. You're going to do it. And you're going to come back and say, hey, did I do it the right way? Or would you have done it differently? Did you want 2 coats? And so not that I need to tell you guys that coachability matters and is important, but I want you to internally ask yourself, what percentage of the coaching you've been given has been executed at the highest level? Do you know what grade Mike would give you if he were to say, hey, let's grade each person based on the tasks, the assignments, the plays we've called. How many of them are running this thing? Or are you potentially just running the things that you feel comfortable running? Are you running the things that were easy, that came natural to you, that were just, okay, yeah, easy to do? That's not being coachable. Doing what felt good, doing what was easy, doing what came naturally doesn't make you coachable. What makes you coachable is when the coach says, hey, man, if you want to get on the field, I know you bench 225 for 40, but your legs are skinny, buddy. I don't even need you hitting upper body for the rest of the freaking training camp. I need you doing legs 3 days a week. So maybe it's your weak spot. Maybe it's your weak spot. I don't know. But what I know is Mike has an instinct. Mike has the ability to see things that you may not see. It's called, a leader's job is to see around the corner. It's to check your blind spot before you start switching lanes. It's to hey, hold on, this way. And it's hard because you don't get to this position unless you have a level of confidence. You don't get to this level of leadership unless you have a certain innate confidence in your ability. And so what we need to do, and I need to do, and Mike needs to do if he's talking to the CEOs, is we have to come with our confidence, and we need to bring an equal level of humility and coachability. And so I just want to challenge you guys before anything happens, before anything else happens throughout the rest of your day, put the pressure on Mike to execute what he's asking you to execute at the highest level, and do it consistently. I believe it'll work, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So there's a couple things I wanted to hit on with you guys. The first thing is, this is all MGAs, right, Vasu?
Yes, everybody on this call is an MGA.
All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, we're going to talk about recruiting. Okay. Surprise. But what I want to talk about is this. I want to talk about, Mike and I have had several conversations about it. We may have a little bit of a different way of doing this, but what I believe is going to be one of the biggest difference makers in you growing your organization is you getting people from signing up to class to out there writing business. Okay. And we had Mondays and Thursdays were touch points for us where we would talk to our pipeline. I'll be honest with you. I'm in contact. I think right now we released 4 people out of this is my MGA team. Okay. So this is what I've coached Matt Conrad to do. I'm coaching Daryl Graham to do. Wish me luck. I've coached Scordos to do. I've coached Tiny to do. I'm coaching Deshaun. He's working with Mario now. I believe your pipeline is your lifeline. It's your future. Okay. Where you want to go is determined by who the hell you got in your pipeline right now and how excited they are about the opportunity. You can't hire someone, okay? You can't talk. They can't come in for a group overview, pay $150, and then call you in 2 weeks when they pass the test and expect them to be excited. It's lonely studying annuities, life insurance policies, taxes, regulations. It's boring. It's dry. I recommend, okay, what's the average? What do you guys have on your team? What's the average amount of agents? Does anyone have any more than 30 agents on their team writing right now?
We barely have 30 agents in the agency.
Okay, so here's the deal, man. Like, if you're not talking to your pipeline every single day, now Mike may think this is excessive. I don't. If you don't have, that's your lifeline. That's your future. That's your freaking heartbeat. I'm talking to them every day. Maybe it's a text. Maybe it's a motivation. Maybe I send them the daily locker room. Maybe I send them the grind message. Maybe I just shoot them a voice text. But what I do is I contact, and I'm in contact with my pipeline probably every other day. Every other day. How you doing? I know it's boring. I know. Trust me. I know. Oh, you're on chapter 4? Okay, get some coffee for that one. But I'm communicating with them, and I'm developing a relationship with them. So they don't listen. If you don't talk to them and they don't do anything, they're not going to be that motivated. It's easy for someone to back out when they don't feel like they're being counted on. When I'm like, hey, listen, man, we picked you for a reason. We're counting on you here. We're excited for you to start. I know this is not that fun. Trust me. This is like conditioning. Wait till you get in the game. The conditioning sucks, but when you're in the game and you're not tired, it's great. Just get through it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Come on. Like, I'm always trying to encourage my pipeline. And I will tell you, I have gotten to points in this deal where I didn't contact my pipeline often. They never come through at the rate I'd like when I don't do it. There's a direct correlation with me building that relationship, trying to motivate, trying to connect, trying to inspire. I'm having them come in for the Monday meetings, all that stuff, because I don't want them to slip through the cracks. And if you do this, maybe you take a half hour, okay? Maybe you take a half hour every other day where you just shoot a message to them. I mean, most people have iPhones, so you can just do that little voice recording. So they hear I don't just text, I don't just call, I do all 3 of those things. I'm either sending them a little video, I'm sending them a text, I'm sending them a voice recording, or I'm calling them. I want them to hear my voice. I want them to hear my excitement for them. I want to make sure that if they're struggling, they can reach out and get it off their chest. All that stuff, man. And that translates to people getting licensed. people learning their script, people getting coded, people writing business. You know, but I know a lot of MGAs, and I'm not saying this is you guys, but I've talked to a lot of MGAs about their pipeline management, and they don't even have anything. It's just like, well, Susan handles that. Susan handles that. Yep. Yeah. No, she updates them, lets them know when they're coming in for their proctor, and she gets them their playbook. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That's like Urban Meyer, like tracking down the number one recruit. He gets him to say yes, and he does not talk to him again until day one of practice. Hell no. So I don't know. I think there's something to be said about looking at your pipeline, locking down your pipeline, making a commitment that, like, if you hired them the right way, they should come through. They should be loyal to you. You should know more about them by the time they get licensed than the day that they signed up for the class. And there should be a relationship established.
Hey, Matt, real quick. A couple things. Number one, can you talk a little bit about, the difference, first of all, what is your MGA team? How many people do you have on your team? What are you guys doing on a weekly basis in production?
We have about 33 released right now. We turned in, we've been around 60 a week, 60K a week for the last weeks.
And just from your MGA team, what is your leadership bonus on average and your advances? And you got everything coded through GAs. I mean, so you're giving away a lot of points, but
yeah, everything's through 60s. I think my average bonus for MGA is like 5,000 a week, 4,000 or 5,000.
And then your advance?
I don't know. I don't even look at the advance reports anymore.
Probably about 4 almost.
Probably 4, yeah. Yeah, I would say 4.
So you're making about $9,000 a week on your MGA deal. Then you have your RGA deal as well, and you got 33 people on your team that you're managing and working with and developing. Talk a little bit about, number one, what do you notice in times when you're engaged with your pipeline management at the level that you're at right now? What do you notice about the people coming in, their coachability, their effort, and all those things? Because I think it translates. And the second thing is talk a little bit about, so, one of the things that we talk about are the challenges in the licensing process in Texas. Well, first of all, we don't have a proctored here, so they don't have to take a proctored exam at all. So we could actually sign someone up for classes, hire them, sign them up for the exam to create a deadline and a target for them to go take the exam, which that's what I would personally do, and sign them up for their fingerprints and all that stuff all at the same time at the time that we hire them. A lot of times what's happening is we're hiring them for the class, which, by the way, I know your Excel is $150. It's $49 for us. And so we hire them for $49, and then we lose a lot of people in the pipeline, in my opinion, because they're not as bought in. But, because they don't have as much invested in the deal. But then one of the things that happens, like, it's taking so long to get people through the pipeline, and I would say in Ohio, probably from the time that you hire someone till they pass the exam, because they can't schedule the exam till after they pass their proctored, we're waiting on fingerprints. Would you say it's about a 4 to 5 week process?
Easily.
Yeah. So it's about 4 to 5 weeks. It's about what we experience very similarly here. Although if we scheduled the exam at the time that we hired them, it could be a little bit quicker. But talk a little bit about it. So they passed their exam. So talk about the coachability elements and all that stuff. But then could you also talk about how long do you expect someone to take to learn the presentation script, which ours is about 4 pages long, very similar. Mm-hmm. How long do you expect them to take to learn the script, and what are some of the things that you do? Because we got people that like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks can't get the script down.
So, I mean, listen, man, if I have a relationship with you, I can ask you to do more than if I don't. It's as simple as that. If I don't have a relationship with you and I'm asking you to do all this extra work, I just seem like kind of a dickhead boss, more or less, for lack of better words. But it all comes back to the hiring process. And in your third interviews is where I try to really set the tone for what's going to be expected. And I basically have them convince me why they should have a shot to be on this team and what level of effort I'm gonna come to expect from them going through the course. But I also let them know that I am going to support them through it. I'm going to be there with them. And so I open up that this conversation, this daily talk, this everyday update is like, it's going to be vital. It's going to help us develop a relationship. And so it's just something that you have to start from the moment that you hire the person, right? If they think, oh, we talk every 3 weeks, that's okay. I'm telling you, people are not excited about that at all. They're excited to hear from you. And that's when you get to pour into them. Like, I'm teaching them about the importance of attitude when they're doing their damn online course. But, you know, I don't know a lot about your guys' process other than I know it sounds like you can do this temp thing. I would imagine you would have more people coming through. But Mike, whatever you're suggesting in terms of trying to create more of a bought-in person, I would do that. I don't know if you guys have the option to have people come in and study or anything like that. I do tell people that I can see their progress every day. I am very upfront about that. I said, Annie, just so you know, not that I'm going to be babysitting you, but they send me an email every day. They tell me how many hours you were logged in, what you're scoring on these chapters. So even if I didn't want to know how you were doing, it's hard for me to not look at the email. But can we come to an agreement that I don't want to find out from the company how you're doing? I'd rather find out from you. That way, if you're struggling, you can let me know. And if you're crushing it, you can let me know. And I just rather find out from you, and we can develop a better relationship. I mean, so I'm just trying to set the tone like that. I let them know, look, I can see what you're doing. So I really try to challenge people. I want those first 2-3 days are like so vital to show what type of effort they're going to give. I tell people I do not grade them on their scores. I only grade them on their effort. I do ask for a specific plan of how they would get that course done if they are working. I want them thinking about a plan. Don't tell me you're going to study real hard. What time do you go in? What time do you get off? What time do you hit the gym? Do you have kids? What time is T-ball? Like walk me through. I literally have them, before I hire them, give me a plan of how they're going to get this course done. Because what I know is that if they don't have a plan, they're not going to finish it. And if they do, they have a better likelihood of executing it. I think that has changed my deal big time. It's allowed my entire pipeline to keep clearing out with people that are coming through and getting released. I wish I would have done it earlier, and I knew it worked, but like most things that we do that work, we don't always continue to do them. You know, I kind of sold myself probably, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, maybe probably about 2 years ago. Last year is when I really started focusing in on it again, but the year before I actually had a down year, and I wasn't engaged with my pipeline. I kind of handed it off to an assistant. It just didn't work for me. So if your pipeline is as important to you as you think it should be, you should be actively engaged start to finish. And then through the training process, I expect someone to get their script down in a week. So I tell them a half a page a day. Half a page a day. I mean, that's, if it's 4 pages, it's 8 days, right? So I show them, I go, look, see these first 3 paragraphs? That is all I need you to do. You can read through the whole thing once, but you don't need to read through the whole thing every day. What I need you to do is I need you to out loud recite this first half of this page till you can no longer screw it up. Now, one thing we do in Cleveland, not every MGA does this, but I do this, is I have Benzinger, Mike. I have him run a workshop every Thursday and Friday from 10:30 to 2 in our agency for anyone who's learning their script. And we role play and we bracket these people off and we rank them on how they're doing, from getting to the door, getting to the table, building rapport, going through no cost. This is how, while they're learning the script, they're actually coming in for touch points. And there's a competition element where you don't want to be the one who doesn't move on or advance. So we do that along with a couple of EAP examples to get them familiar. And I feel like that's really helped these guys learn their presentation. And I always go in there. I always stop in there. How we doing? Who won today? Hey, and we have their names and we have what they said they have down. So we'll have, like, John will say 60%. Bill will say 40%. And that's what they said. And then after the day is over, then I have Steve put up where they're really at. You know, so, you know, someone comes in like, oh, I'm 80% down. They're really like 40% down. So they start
constantly evaluating them, and you're creating tough deadlines. I mean, you got to get it done in a week, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, listen, we want you to make money, and we make money when you make money, but we can't have you get out there making money till you know what to say. And so it's really like, I don't know how else to motivate someone more than say, hey, you can't make money till you learn this. but as soon as you do, you can, kind of thing, you know? And I think creating an environment where people can see, like someone that thinks they have it down comes in and sees someone that really has it down, and they're like, huh, okay then. So that's what having it down looks like, you know? But they're in the environment constantly. I mean, that's just another thing, just having people up. You know, I remember back in the early days, you know, one thing I always noticed is that you would always have someone in your office. I feel like Cunningham would always have someone like sitting in his office just studying. Even if like, you know, even if they were just learning the script, they were around the environment. And that is something that causes people to typically act a little bit more, to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more engaged. Quite frankly, I believe some people may need that just to get out of their house and get out of their own distractions and stuff like that. So, you know, that's something that you could potentially test out as well. So
Great advice.
You know, and just to give you guys some perspective, because this is kind of alongside the pipeline, is obviously to get a pipeline, you have to recruit, right? In order to have a pipeline worth managing, you know, there's got to be a level of recruiting that's happening. What is the do all the MGAs recruit now actively?
You know, they're generally, for the most part, mostly, I would say half of them are setting interviews on a weekly basis themselves, and half are not.
And the half that are not, is there a plan that you guys have in place that is making up for the fact that you're probably the most highest qualified talent attractor on your team?
You know, the culture of the agency, Matt, had been, you know, a lot of recruiters and a lot of, you know, now it's like recruiting companies. And we don't have, in our culture, we don't have an engagement at the SAGA level generally with recruiting and RMS and that type of thing. And at the MGA level, it's not typical, but, you know, maybe half of them are booking some sort of interviews at some level, or at least that's what's being reported.
Is this your direction? Do you care, Mike, if they recruit or not? Are you like, hey, I don't want you guys focused on recruiting? Or
I think what it is that, you know, we've tried and attempted to create a culture where leaders recruited a couple times, and it just didn't work. For whatever reason, we failed on the leadership and the execution of it. And so I try to encourage, I mean, as you know, we never stopped recruiting RMS. I mean, that never stopped. But, you know, in personal recruiting and all that. But I try to encourage it, but it's just not been part of our culture. Yeah. And so I don't know how to, you know, personally, I'd love advice on this. I don't know how to make an MGA do anything that they don't want to do.
No, I don't. I just didn't know if it was like, hey guys, I don't want you focused on it. I'd rather you guys be developing somebody. So I didn't want to like go against any type of advice you've been given.
I think for the most part, you know, if I'm an MGA and I've got people making phone calls, that's a pretty good time for me to make some recruiting calls. I mean, I don't need them recruiting 20 hours a week, but I mean, you have time to do it during that period of time where you can kind of coach and still, you know, dial in and that type of thing.
I just, you know, guys, I have a recruiting company I use, and I've been using it, but I still do my own recruiting too. Like, I can't expect someone getting paid. I mean, I always talk about this. Like, I can't expect an hourly employee to have the level of desire to attract an 8 or 9 as I would. I mean, it's my business. I have to be the best recruiter on my team. I just have to be. I don't know another way to. You're putting your ability to attract talent is being passed on to an hourly employee. Think about that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I would not be in the position I'm in if I did not make recruiting my number one priority. It was drilled into me from the very onset of my career. Recruiting solves all problems. Recruiting solves all problems. Recruiting solves all problems. I mean, I heard that a million times. Recruiting solves all problems. Yeah, listen, I'm a fan of having other people make calls. I'm a fan of the more appointments, the more interviews booked, the likelihood of hires is going to go up. But like, if you're not scooping up a couple personals yourself each week, it is your business. You make the most from the recruit. You stand to gain the most from the recruit. where would our efforts be better put than finding new talent? Agree, you have to develop the talent you have. Agree, you have to develop the people you have. But you have to be recruiting. You have to be recruiting. Guys, Nikki, I don't know if you remember this, but like, you know, back when I got promoted, I was promoted, I think, with 4 or 5 other MGAs, you know, Phil Jenkins, I think, IP, Amanda, there were several other people. The only thing, and this took me some time, it took me probably a year and a half. I'm not better than any of them. They're all very talented people. But I think it'd be really hard to argue that I did not recruit more than them. I could confidently tell you, like, I called more RMS. I went out there and went to more. I did more on the recruiting front, which what that meant was, from an ALP standpoint, it kind of didn't show right away, right? Because it's a delayed situation. Recruiting is delayed. You can't set appointments, close deals, get ALP. You got to plant seeds, set interviews, get through a pipeline. It takes a little bit longer. So it looked on paper, on the scoreboard, that I was kind of the lagging MGA out of all the MGAs that were promoted. It was like, oh, well, Amanda's doing this. Well, IP's doing 15,000 a week. You know, there's Parks, you know. And that is hard as a competitor to see other people that I felt I was just as good as basically outwriting me in ALP. Marcus told me recruiting solves all problems. Keep doing what you're doing. Vesey's like, dude, you're doing the right things. So I just had to kind of turn that off for about a year, not look so much at the scoreboard, and continuously try to get more people in the group, get more people in my pipeline. And while it did take a while, that if I go back and I look like what kind of got the thing going for you, it was the recruiting, man. It was nothing else. I can't point it to anything else. Oh, I read a Maxwell book. That's what did it, guys. No, dude, it was people. It was, I found more people. I got them in. I talked to them, coached them, led them. If they were super sharp, I got them in Vasu's office or Marcus's office or one of these guys' office so they could, you know, further solidify that relationship and get them to see the vision. I talked about where we were going. You know, I talked about how we're going to be a top MGA team. I started casting vision. I tried to find out what was important to them. I tried to find out what their needs, wants, and desires were. I cared about it, but it all came from getting the damn people to begin with.
Hey Matt. Here, let's take a blast from the past here.
Is this a picture of you with a bagel?
No. So Matt would sit with a bagel and a protein shake and just recruit. And I want you guys to see this. And I think I've showed this to people before. They're like, he must have gotten something coded. I promise you didn't get nothing coded to him. Not one thing was coded to him. This guy built his deal from scratch on my daughter. He got nothing coded to him. But what happened was all these months of recruiting, 10,000 a week, 12,000 a week, 15,000 a week, all this stuff. That's what led to 119, 146, 188. And then the guy who just broke the RGA record was the commitment to recruiting, which I will tell you that he recruited a minimum, at least 25 hours a week, 30 hours a week. And before you start looking at his retention, the qualifications were a lot less than the average company.
I was looking at that, bro. But Mike, if you go – and if you went back January through May, right?
Of 10 or 11?
10. That would have been my even 5 months prior to what shows on here, that would have been really my that'd have been my first really 6 months in the deal as an MGA.
Right here.
Dude, you're so good with this stuff. I wouldn't even know how to find this.
Archives.
That's a month.
Yeah.
That's gross. I wasn't even grossing $10,000 a week.
But when I got to tell you guys something that when you see a guy like Matt, there was zero doubt. Bulldog and I would go to these recognition meetings, and we'd be like, "Man, I hope this guy makes it. He's working his ass off. And a lot of people, I got to tell you something, they would have given up 100%. We had a challenge, Matt. I did a challenge with my essays and GAs to have 10 weeks in a row of booking 20 interviews. One person actually executed the challenge. Out of all my essays and GAs, I think 5 or 6 of them committed to the challenge, and one completed. I mean, a challenge from the SGA to do just 20 interviews booked a week. One person completed the challenge. I think they need to know. I think people really need to know what it really takes, because here's what happens. People, they recruit for a week or 2 or 3 weeks. They get 1 or 2 people to show up. They're like, this doesn't work. It's a waste of time. I mean, that's typically the response. So I think it's important to hear and see this, that it takes a while. I mean, it's not an overnight thing. People want to believe that there's such a thing as an overnight success and silver bullets. And I'll tell you that we've got the closest thing here, because we can hire someone and 8 days later they can write business. We have a limitation.
That's amazing, man. That is amazing. It really is amazing. It's not, I mean, I got to get people to like leave their job and pay for a class and get licensed and go 4 weeks without pay. So what I can tell you is whatever thing or things you've been telling yourself about why you're where you're at, if it's not where you want to be, whatever it is, I don't care what you're telling yourself. If you're like, oh, the leads, in Dallas or in Houston, they we're in the South, so it's a little slow. Listen, okay. I started in 2009 in Cleveland, Ohio, and no economy was hit as bad. We were hit as bad as any other economy. We recruited, we sold policies, okay? People can figure it out if they believe in you enough and if they believe in the opportunity enough. They have to pay $49 to get a license. Go cut 2 lawns.
Yeah, $49 for the course. It's around $200 total for everything.
Still, you know what I mean? If you have someone that you love, that you like, that you feels great, bring them in, have them book appointments for you. Have them do a little work. Have them work it off. Get creative and ingenuitive. Like, do not buy these excuses, whatever they may be, okay? Well, I don't know what they are for you, but I know we have people that have excuses here. Oh, like we have people that are like, well, convention's coming up. I'm like, okay, convention's on Sunday. Dude, that's all, you have this whole week to go knock it out of the park, right? I remember people thinking that December was going to be a slow month because of the holidays. We had fat ass Decembers. We had big Decembers. You know, I look at this. Like, here's how you guys can look at this. I go, hey, I'm one of 5 MGAs getting promoted. I'm going to do more than any of them, and over time, even if I'm not the best one, I will have at least established myself as the hardest worker. And damn it, that's got to count for something. Like, that's got to give me something eventually. It's got to give me something eventually. It had in my life so far. So I guess what I would probably say to you guys is, like, okay, there's 8 or 9 or 10 of you. I don't know how many, but it only, like, just so you guys know, it only takes one of you leaders to decide, I'm about to pull away and separate myself from every other MGA. It's not even going to be close. And I'm going to do it with action. What I'm not going to do is tell Mike how bad I want it. Tell Andy how focused I am. Tell him how I'm going to get it. Like, dude, telling someone that you want to get it and getting it are 2 different things. Go do it. Put your freaking head down for a year. Put your head down from a year. I am not special at all. At all. I'm not even close to naturally gifted. I promise you, this is not Matt being humble. I'm not. It takes me longer to do most things. I was telling the agency the other day, Mike, dude, you know how hard I work out. You know how clean I eat. This is all I got to show for it. These little freaking things, dude. That's it. Since 1999, I've been eating clean, working hard. I don't skip leg day. You know what I mean, dude?
And he's strong like bull. He's strong as hell.
But I'm a little rail. I'm a skinny little dude. And I'm like, I got skinny man syndrome. I'll probably have it my whole life. What I'm trying to tell you is, like, it's not, I can't, no matter what I do, I'm never going to look like Vasu. It's okay. My job is not to look like Vasu. My job is to look, in my mind, like the best version of Matt Parks, whatever that is. If I cap out at 195, so be it. But I have to push myself so damn hard just to kind of look like I work out. And is it frustrating when I see other people at the gym and say, oh, he's probably on something, or damn, you got good genetics? Yes, sometimes it does just suck, but my race is not against them anyways. My race is against me. And I've come to the conclusion a long time ago that it's just going to take me a little bit longer to get to where I want to go. And you know what? I thought it was something that I was like, God, why wouldn't you just make me taller? I could have played basketball, or, you know, in college, why couldn't you make me smarter? My roommates get this way easier. And I realized God's gift to me was the willingness to persevere as opposed to the natural talent. I don't know if I would have built this discipline had I been gifted natural abilities. And I don't know if that relates to you or not, but I think it probably could or should some way. Because in this business, man, I didn't have a natural market. I wasn't 19 and had a bunch of young friends needing jobs. I was 27 years old. I left something good. I had to put my head down. I had to drive to the office from Westlake to North Royalton. That's 40 minutes. I had to call from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. Then I would go into the field. My area was in Madison and Geneva and Jefferson and Ashtabula. These are areas that were about an hour from the office, an hour and 10 from my house. So this is the triangle. My house, my apartment, 40 minutes to the office. Get there a little bit before 8 after working out. Call till 2 the whole time. I did not get on Facebook. I didn't check my emails. I didn't do anything but dial RMS. Maybe eat the bagel, but I was dialing while I was eating, hoping they didn't pick up because I had freaking food in my mouth. Okay? 8 to 2, Tuesday and Wednesday. I leave for the field at 2. My first appointment was from 3 to 4. Okay? I was from 3 to 8 or 9, just solid. And I had to drive an hour to there. Then I had to drive around my area, and then I had to do what I had to do for ALP. Then I had to drive back home, which was an hour and 10 minutes. And this is not you feeling bad for me or me feeling bad for myself. I'm speaking about factual things that I did for over 2 years straight, and I didn't love it the entire time. I did have doubts. I did wonder if this was ever going to work. I definitely became an MGA and said, shit, I was making just as much money just producing, and I never had to go into the office. I just went right to the field. Like, I'm being honest with you. I had those thoughts. But then I saw Mike Vasu's freaking bonus checks. Then I saw Bulldog, and I'm like, dude, okay, I can do this. I can do this for a couple years really hard. You know, I can do this for a few years really hard, so I don't have to anymore. I don't have to anymore. What I found is, like, it did suck. I'm not going to lie to you. It did suck. But you know what? Let it suck for a little bit. You'll get good at it. You'll get better at it. You'll find a way to get more recruits in less time. I didn't just recruit Tuesday and Wednesday from 8 to 2. I came in on Thursday while the group was going on. If I wasn't sitting in on the group, I was trying to call and set more. Friday mornings, I would recruit before the field. Sundays, if I wasn't booking appointments for 2 hours to get presets, I was recruiting for 2 hours. I'm not even kidding you guys. I would go out into my car. I would sit there with the air conditioning on, and I would call RMS while Lonnie was inside. We weren't married at the time yet, but it was like, and I got people that won't even make a recruiting call. Like, how freaking bad do you really want it? And if you don't want it, here's what I would suggest happen. I would suggest you tell Mike, hey, this is what I want. I want to make this amount of money without working more than this many hours. Okay? And he may say, okay, cool. Now I know. Now I can help you achieve that goal. He may say, hey, that's not possible. He may say, you could absolutely do that. You're better off as a producer. Or he may say, dude, you're already doing that. You're going to make $100,000 a year. You're going to write your 15,000 every week, and you're going to be fine. That's what you want. Great. I don't think Mike's trying to make you be what he wants you to be. I think he genuinely wants to help you get to where you want to go. But my question for you is this: do you think maybe, is it possible that you have like lowered what you want because everyone else around you, you're not seeing anyone else do it? So you're like, oh, well, I guess 20,000 a week's good. I guess 20,000 a week is, I'd be one of the top guys. And this is not to be like a jerk, but like, you won't even be an MGA in our office at 20,000 a week. Like, when I became an MGA, Marcus is like, hey, you got like 6 months to get to 17,000 a week, dude, or it ain't going to work. I was really close, but the effort and the habits and the behavior was there. And I don't even know if I got to the 17, but the action that was being taken led him to believe you're going to get there. And so I bought myself time. I bought myself time with effort.
Precisely what happened.
Right, Mike?
Exactly what happened.
My goal was not to buy myself time. My goal was to get over 20,000 a week. But listen, I'll tell you this, guys, and I love you guys. And whenever I give this advice, this is not me thinking I'm better than you. I want you to think maybe differently than how you're thinking. Okay. It's not that 20,000 a week sucks. It's not that anyone sucks. It's that I have a 19-year-old kid named Daryl Graham that just became an MGA, okay? And he's wet behind the ears. He's super green. He's very unpolished. This kid is so certain of where he's going, though, that he will buy himself time. I wrote this down. He just moved out to Kentucky. Him and like 4 guys, okay? This week, between the 4 of them, they have 19 personals. Okay? They go everywhere.
They're not from Kentucky.
Hell no, not even close. They're from Cleveland, Ohio. They're city boys. They're going to Kentucky, rural Kentucky. They're going into the gyms. They're going into the restaurants. They're going all over the place. And they're just like, hey, are you looking for work? I go, what do you say to these people, Daryl? He goes, feel me, bro? What I say is, hey, you looking for work? He probably says it just like that. So imagine with your professionalism if you said it like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm new to the area. Are you by any chance looking for a better career opportunity? Like, what if you just said that 20 times today? I can't tell you guys, like, opening your mouth is probably the thing that you do the least of that you should do more of. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Hey, are you looking for a career opportunity? Hey, are you looking for a better job by any chance? Hey, I know this may sound weird. I don't know you. I just seen you over here. But, I handle business and benefits over in the Houston area, and we're looking to expand. I was wondering if you were open to a better opportunity. Worst thing they say is no. Best thing they say is, funny you should ask. You know, why don't you do that 20 times a day? Something has to change in order for the results to change. But this dude, Daryl, like I'm telling you, 19 personals, guys, for the week. And you know what they do? They started Facebook friending all these cats. And then when they're Facebook friends, then they look and see who their friends are. And then they start randomly friending them. And then they start direct messaging them. Hey, I'm friends with so-and-so. Are you looking for work? They have zero shame in their game. They have no fear of being rejected. They could care less if 2 of them show up. They're going to do it again next week. And it will work. If they've set their pride aside is what they've done. They have no fear. No fear. See, me, man, I'm kind of successful, man. I don't like getting rejected. I make $100,000 a year. Like, I don't like when people tell me they're all set. That feels bad in my heart. That hurts my soul. That crushes my confidence. No, man, that is a selfish feeling. It's not about you. If you really think that there's an opportunity to help somebody, to get them in a better spot, you owe it to them and yourself to open your mouth. You do. You know, but I would not be out of the field before $20,000 a week. And I don't know if you guys have a rule on that, but if you're not over 20,000 every week, you should be in the field writing business. You should be recruiting in the mornings. It should be a grind. It should be the 9 to 9 schedule for a little while, guys. But just understand on the other side of what that means. I'm telling you, it's greatness. It's time. It's it's not just time. Then there's the freedom that comes to do what you want with the time. There's not financial constriction. Like, I can't tell you guys how this company can change your life if you're willing to go through a couple of periods of like a couple of years of just, I mean, you don't have to give up everything, but I bet you could give up more than you're giving up, or I bet you could do more than you're doing, and you could see a major, major difference. You guys are the catalyst for your team, for your agency. You know what I mean? And I know the capabilities you guys have. Quite honestly, if I'm being 100% candid with you guys, I see the numbers. I feel like you guys are underperforming without a doubt. There's no question that you guys are way better than what you're showing. That doesn't change unless the MGAs start making decisions, start thinking bigger, differently. If all of you don't feel that way, that's okay. But I will tell you, one of you has to start making these changes, these behavioral changes, these thinking changes, these action items. One of you has to decide enough is enough. And what will happen is it'll ignite another person to potentially do it. And if not, I will tell you, one person going ham inside the organization can take you guys to 200,000 a week like that. Make that you. Like, decide that it's going to be you. Decide it's going to be you. And be guys, listen, man. Vasu will give you the shirt off his freaking back. I already know that. And you already know that. Okay? He was probably the most intimidating guy in our Cleveland office for years. Like, people feared Mike. They feared him. Like, oh my God, I got to do accountability with Mike. Oh, Mike does the releases. Like, dude, I'm like a softie compared to Mike. But what I think could happen is Mike's also a very nice guy, you know, and maybe Texas has softened him up a little bit. I don't know. But what I would tell you is this: don't make Mike be an asshole for you to do your job high. Don't make him be a jerk. Don't make him start like doing stuff that is against what he wants to do to try to get you to perform. At the end of the day, he just wants you to perform at your highest potential. That's all he wants. He wants the agency to perform at its highest potential. But I'll tell you one thing, man. If Mike Vasu asked me to meet him at a certain time, to this day, I'm like, all right, the call's at 10, 9:55. I'm already ready. Like not late. Like, what my desire to impress and instill and let him know, look, dude, you can still count on me. You know, I ain't too big for my britches. I'm still humble. You know, whatever. I'm in Florida. We flew in yesterday at my parents' house. Like, he needs a call done? Absolutely. I guarantee there's people that have been like, dude, I'm on vacation, bro. I'll catch you next time. He would not do that to me. So I would never do that to him. And that's who you have as a leader, is a guy that literally cares so much. Look at what he does. Look at his travel. Look what he's doing. Just look. And Mike is not superhuman, dude. He's not RoboCop. Is it impressive how much he can do in so little sleep? It is. It is. Okay. But what I'm telling you guys is there are plenty of other people that have goals and dreams big that are doing what he's doing. And they're doing it for much less. Same for you. There's someone out there that's working harder than you for much less than what you're getting. And you should value and appreciate the opportunity. You guys have an unlimited opportunity. I've seen what you guys can do. And I know that you guys are in a place right now where you can go. You can turn up and you can go. And the time is now. The time is right freaking now for you guys collectively to come together and decide enough is enough. I'm going to do everything possible. I'm telling you guys right now, there are people that had good days yesterday. I don't care if I'm on vacation. I'm shooting them a message. I'm giving them a call. It doesn't stop. This is not about me. This is about encouraging other people. You have someone on your team right now that you can take from where they're at, and they could be a game changer for you. You just got to pour into them. So I appreciate your guys' time. I hope this helped, man. I hope this did something for somebody. I don't know if it did. My story doesn't change, so you've probably heard it before. It may sound like a broken record. It doesn't make it any less accurate or true, though. That's what I want you to know. So, Nikki, you've heard the story 500 times, right? Sorry, right? Sorry, but it doesn't change. Like, That is what it's going to take. And you don't tell yourself that you can't do it. Don't tell yourself, well, this is different here. It's not different here. It's not different there. Everything's got their own things. Every city's got their own drawbacks. Everything, there's always a reason. You're in the country, you'll get less referrals. Your ALP will be higher. You go into the city, you'll get a bunch of referrals, you'll deal with bank issues. There's always going to be something. Always going to be something. Your job is not to like count up all the reasons why you can't. Your job is to find one reason why you're able to and just roll with it. Okay? So I know you guys are beasts, and I know you guys got greatness in you, and I just need you guys to get freaking fired up, get sick and tired of this little lull that you're in, snap the hell out of it, rip the ball off the cover. Okay? Let's go, man. You guys can go right freaking 5,000 to 10,000 this week, each of you, if you wanted. Do a beat the boss week. You guys could run a contest where Mike's not even involved and say, hey, guarantee you in the month of July, I get more personal hires than you. Like, get competitive, you guys. Get pissed off. Like, does Mike have to start putting you guys against each other like Marcus used to do to us in order to get you to go play at your best? Like, come on. Comfort zone is dead. You're dead. You die in that zone. Push yourself. And when you do, you guys are going to be so freaking happy that you did. Your results are going to follow, and you'll live happily ever after. Okay? I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. I'm so excited. If you guys need anything, Mike, let any of them know if they ever need anything. Like, just a quick conversation or whatever to have them, that more than welcome to get my number out, reach out. So I appreciate your guys' time.
Thanks, Parks, man. That was unbelievable. And, I want you guys to know that, and I know that we're out of time on the call, but, a lot of times we see people and we're like, man, if I had Parks, if I was making 30 grand a week, I would never sleep. But I want you to know that when Parks came to American Income, he had a Acura TL, older Acura. Then he upgraded to a newer pre-owned Maxima. And he built a deal to, $50,000 a week driving a Maxima. And this guy doesn't waste money. He's very, very smart and intelligent and not showy, not a show off. He wasn't wearing Ferragamos until he was making $600 grand a year. So he's prudent. You know what I mean? He's very humble. He doesn't use flash whatsoever. What he's earned, he's earned. He's earned it. And I'll tell you that it probably took a lot of convincing from a lot of people for a long time for him to get a Bentley. But he bought a Bentley when it was no big deal to get a Bentley. I love his quote that if you can't buy it twice, you don't need it. And he probably could buy it 20 times, But, hard work, the effort, and it will pay off. There are payoffs for sure with consistency. When does it happen? You don't know. What you know is it's going to happen. You just don't know when. So great advice. Unbelievable call. I'm glad I recorded this, Parks. Thanks for taking time out, when you're with family on vacation, to do this call for the MJs. I know it meant a lot to them and it meant a lot to me. So whatever I could do for you, whatever it is, I got you. So I'll see you in a couple of days.
Guys, man, I appreciate you guys so much, man. Let's take this. Let's run with it. You know what I mean? Start it over. Start right now. Today's day one with it. First day. Let's impress ourselves. Let's impress our leaders. Let's impress our people. Let's get it.
Thanks, Parks.
Thanks, Parks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.